Hi, I'm Dylan Paris. I'm a musician, a YouTuber, I work in tech in my day job, and today I am making a video to celebrate the fact that I have hit 4,000 YouTube subscribers, which is amazing. If you're watching this, there's a really good chance you're one of those people, and I just want to say thank you so much. This is huge. The original version of this channel started when I was in college. I only made a couple of videos and realized, it wasn't the right direction for what I wanted to do. So I waited a while and came back around 2019, where I eventually started doing weekly uploads, and I haven't really stopped since. If you've been watching my channel, you know that my primary focus is music and music technology. I've dabbled in a few other topics as well, but there were a few things that really brought people to the channel, primarily iPad music and DAWless music production, as well as some Ableton music production videos and MIDI controller videos. I've got my M1 Pro MacBook Pro here, and I wanted to just highlight some of the, successes and failures of the last few years as I've worked to get to 4,000 subscribers, and also just, reflect some of the cool moments and weird things that have happened. First and foremost, again, thank you so much for watching this and for being part of this channel. This has really been such a magical experience for me. I've been a musician since I was like 16 years old, which, you may not know, but I'm almost 29. And so I've been making music for a long time, and I really haven't seen a huge amount of growth from where I started to where I am now as far as recognition. As a musician, I'm probably like thousands of times better than I was when I started. But as far as, people listening to my music and finding it, that's been pretty difficult for me as someone trying to grow that organically. YouTube, on the other hand, in the course of about 2 or 3 years, has really blossomed for me in a way that it makes money, not a ton, but some, that it creates an audience for my work and allows me to communicate with people who like the same stuff I like. If you followed my channel for a while, you know I'm in the comments. Like, I see every comment, I try to react to every comment, I try to communicate with you. As the channel grows, that may become unsustainable, but I will cross that bridge when I get there, and we're not quite there yet. So thank you for being on this journey. If you're not already subscribed, obviously I would appreciate if you did. If you don't feel like you get that value from the channel, then don't sweat it either. It's okay. The other thing I would say is if you've been a long time subscriber, I would really appreciate if you checked out my music. I'm on all the streaming services as Dylan Paris, dylanparis.bandcamp.com. You can see the music I've created just as Dylan Paris. I've had other projects in the past, but let's not worry about those. Dylan Paris is how I release my music. It's my name. My last album is called There's Something Better. I'm super proud of it. It was co-produced with my friend Jake Stein, known as Wrong House in the music community. I'm just so proud of this album. If you consider checking it out on any service you use, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Deezer, Amazon, whatever, linked below. If you want to support me directly with money, just watching this video with either YouTube Premium or without ad block will help my channel. If you want to go above and beyond, really buying my album here or sharing it with people would mean a whole lot. Again, I know that's kind of an above and beyond ask here, so no worries. Now let's talk about some of these videos. So, my #1 most viewed video, and all of these always feel like flukes to me. If anyone tells you they know exactly what's gonna hit and what's not, they're either MKBHD or Mr. Beast, or they're lying, right? I mean, that's not entirely true, but the big channels I think have good insight and good history and have built up a following to know this, but for me it's completely random. I will put hours and hours and hours of work into making a beat and recording screen capture for something like I made a beat inspired by Grand Theft Auto 3, and it'll be the worst performing video I've ever done. And then I'll buy a used phone on eBay and just talk about why I thought it was a good idea to do that and get 51,000 views with 1,435 likes and 412 comments. Because the algorithm, because interests. I mean, obviously, more people were interested in a used Note 10 Plus than they were in the GTA 3 remaster, let alone a song inspired by the GTA 3 remaster. But it is still funny, just seeing what pops off and what doesn't. So let's look at my top 5 videos, because I think they're a really interesting overview of what people came to my channel for, right? So the first one is the Note 10 Plus video, and I think that's a fluke. Like, I'm very grateful for it. It's made money, right? Like, let's check it out. This video, if we go to revenue, this video made me $94. And I bought the phone for like $650 or $7. So the video actually took almost $100 off the phone just for talking about it. So that was kind of cool. But it is a strange video, right? It really doesn't fit a lot of what I do in this channel. When I started, I really wanted to be a big variety channel. Sometimes I think that's out of reach, but then I see this video and I'm like, okay, maybe weird random shots can work. And that was only about a year ago, which is another thing I'm really proud of on this channel, is a lot of the top videos are also recent videos, which is cool. So my second most viewed video, and I think the one that I'm actually the most proud of as far as fitting what I do mostly on this channel, is my Arturia Keylab Essential 49 review. And again, none of this is sponsored or like provided to me, right? I have 2 sponsored videos on my channel. Both were sponsored by DistroKid. They didn't pay for this one, so I don't know why I shouted them out, but shouts out. Everything else is, you know, stuff I bought with my money. If I ever sponsor it, it's just me saying, hey, check out my music to help my channel and to help me. But outside of that, you know, I just have a problem of buying gear and then selling gear. And I realized if I talked about it, I might get some value back from that. So this Arturia Keylab Essential video is at 38,000 views in less than a year, which is just wild, right? I really think the algorithm just picked it up. I mean, I don't want to discredit my work here, but I would say most of my videos are pretty good quality. All right, I don't have an objective view on this, but you know, full disclosure, I went to film school. Like, I've done video editing since I was in middle school. Like, I know what I'm doing to a degree. I could be making better videos if I didn't also have a 40-hour week full-time job, but the 40-hour week full-time job lets me just make what I want when I want and not make things just to try to like generate revenue, right? So anyway, the Keylab video feels like a good video that just got chosen by the algorithm and then blew up. But I am super grateful that that happened, and it's been really cool. Yeah, if we want to look at the revenue for this one, wow, this one made $122. This one actually made more than the Note 10 video, despite, you know, getting less views and I think less engagement. But it likely just had better CPM. We can actually check here. It had a better clickback CPM, a good amount of ad revenue. Yeah, I mean, this is just cool, right? That also means that a big majority of the price of that keyboard got covered by this video. And that to me is kind of a goal and has been a goal of the channel, right? If I could get enough interaction and views and growth from the channel, then when I buy things like a Machina Plus, or when I buy things, you know, like this Keylab Essential, the videos about them might pay for the product. We're not even close to there yet, but we're getting there. That's really exciting. The Ableton Push 2 in 2021 video is pretty cool. This is my biggest reason for really liking this one. We're gonna go to a private window, not for any nefarious reasons. Let's go to Ableton Push 3 and just do a raw Google search. Look at that. This is an uncookied browser, although it does have that click, so it might know I'm me. But I mean, this was such a cool thing because like Tatro put out this video. It got 28,000 views. September 2021. Tatro basically talked about this leak that had happened with the Push 3. Big Tatro fan, by the way. Huge shout out to Tatro. After he talked about this, I had recently picked up an Ableton Push 2 again, and I wanted to talk about should you wait, should you not? And in doing so, I ended up getting more views on that one, which is like nuts, because Tatro's huge. Tatro's like big, right? Tatro and Andrew Wong, Red Means Recording, they're playing in the sphere I hope to maybe someday get to someday. So it was cool to even be playing with the big dogs there. Anyway, the Ableton Push 2 is an interesting device. I haven't made a video about this, but I sold this one. I have my reasons for why I didn't keep it. I'm really now trying to not sell gear anymore. So I still have the Machina Plus. I still have the MPC Live 2. I still have a bunch of MIDI controllers, my super overpriced and underpowered, well, at least undersupported iPad Pro. I have all these things, and I'm trying to hold all these things so that I don't sell them and then buy them again and, you know, keep making videos of why I changed my mind, right? The truth is I'm going to feel one way about one thing one day and another way about another thing on a different day. But the Ableton Push 2 is one of the last things I did end up selling. And similar to the MC707, I do kind of regret selling it, but I knew I wasn't using it enough to justify it. I have a couple things I'd really like on a Push 3, and I already made a video about that a year ago, but I'm probably going to make another one because I think my ideas are really solidified there. But anyway, this was a cool video. My friends would message me like, hey, I found you on YouTube because I was looking for Ableton Push 3, not because I was looking for your channel or even knew you had a channel. I had like old friends who were like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? This one has like, you know, 20,000 views at the time. Now it's at 30, obviously, but that was really cool. An outlier here is the only video from 2019, which is my first video for the algorithm to grab and share in a way that I just had never experienced before. And that was the Chord Gadget 2 live composition with Nano Key Studio. This one was so weird because it was just such a normal video for me. Like I was making so many videos like this at the time. This is back when the channel was called Ultra Choice. I would just sit down with like an iPad and some MIDI controllers and make a video. I think the reason this one popped off is because I think a lot of people were interested in the Nano Key Studio at the time, and I think I was one of the only people who made a video about using the Nano Key Studio and the Nano Control 2 at the same time. So that would be my guess for why this one had a little bit better SEO. But really, this just feels like another example of the algorithm just picking up what was an okay video and then being like, everyone check this out, and then the audience being receptive to that. I mean, if we look at analytics, we can see it made $24, which is interesting. I mean, that speaks to I wasn't monetized when this first came out, and so all the monetized views are probably from way later. Yep, I think if I'd been monetized when it came out, this would be one of the higher monetization videos. But again, that's kind of the journey, right? I mean, I did this for at least a year of weekly uploads. We can see that here. September, even just this video coming out, right? September 2019 to September 2020, I was not monetized. And I was making videos probably weekly for a couple months before this, and I wasn't making any money. But that's part of the journey, part of the growth, and it's really thanks to you all that I now do make some money from this, which is really cool. Not a ton yet, but I have a good feeling about it. I don't make a lot of iPad videos lately outside of being angry. I know I've alienated some of the community on that. Here's what I would say. If you love something and you can't hear criticism about really like valid faults with that thing, you might be blinded by your love. That doesn't mean a thing isn't holistically bad, right? And people are drawn to iPad music because it's so obvious that like if that device could do what you know it could do, it would be almost perfect. But it's severely limited in some really real ways. I think if you buy a base level $320 iPad with the given year number at the end, and then you use like GarageBand, Beatmaker 3 to an extent, Core Gadget for sure, you're gonna have a really pleasant per dollar value experience. But if you do what I did, buy all in on the 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, M1, iPad Pro, the dollar amount and the power amount is not being met by the software. And that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, the last video, speaking of iPads, in my top 5 is Ableton for iPad, LK and AUM how-to. This is one of the first ones to blow up that I'm really proud of, but it also taught me some important stuff. In the process of making this video, after it came out, I realized that in my excitement for just this new workflow, I had essentially accidentally created advertisement. It's the kind of free, organic advertisement I think music companies and all companies are looking for from YouTubers. People genuinely excited about their products and sharing that experience. But the thing is, I don't think I was critical enough in this video. I mean, I mentioned things that weren't working, and that's good. And I always try to do that. You know, I have Stay Honest tattooed on my arm. I take integrity and honesty much more seriously than anything else. I have a job for money. I'm not gonna lie to you for money. Looking back at this video in particular, I feel a little weird that I wasn't more critical and that it was so pitchy. I know this video brought a lot of people to my channel and it has a really nice like ratio, right? Of all these top 5, it's the best like ratio. Also, I'm kind of bummed they got rid of the dislike button just because like I like people knowing that other people like my video versus the dislike. Like I feel good about where my ratios are throughout most of the time. I like looking at this, there isn't anything sub 80 and I'm pretty sure I don't have anything sub 70% like. Anyway, the LK and AUM video was interesting because it did open up a working relationship in the sense that Imaginando will share my videos sometimes if I post them. They gave me a free code for frames, I believe that's what it's called, FRMS, and the Perplexon expansion. They gave me a code for Visual Studio, or Visual Synthesizer, sorry, on iPad, but I had never got around to really learning it. It was at the same time the iPad was frustrating me, and I kind of wish I'd asked for a Mac code because I think I would get more utility out of Visual Synthesizer on a device like the Mac where I could just have an external display or projector going along with Ableton. Anyway, shout out to Imaginando for being cool people. Obviously, they were also featured in my last iPad video where I said iPad music is broken. And I meant that, by the way. Like, people are like, this is clickbait. I'm like, if you watch the whole video and you feel like that's clickbait, I don't know what to tell you. I think I outlined my thesis very well. If you have a different experience with something, your experience is also valid. Many things can be true at once. In fact, most things have multitudes, and much like the person I was named after, I too contain them. This video is cool. I'm really proud of this video. It brought people to the channel, but it also taught me to be more critical. And you maybe have noticed that, right? I mean, one of my more recent big videos is the Machina Plus long-term review, which has the screen cap of A Tragedy. I took months of using the Machina Plus that I paid full price for to make sure I had a good actual overview and understanding of the device. I felt like many of the reviews I'd seen felt rushed and felt subsidized in the sense it didn't feel like a lot of people had paid $1,400. And if they did, it didn't feel like $1,400 was that much money to them. Because when I paid $1,400 and then that device kept glitching and airing out and missing all these things that I thought it could do and could have. And I'm not even talking about like synthesizers that weren't advertised. Like I knew what the device said it could do, but just having it like boot loop when I would try to show my friends the songs I had made, or really just have a hard time even loading projects I'd recorded previously, And I was never hitting above like 60 CPU usage, right? I was doing everything right. I was watching Jeff Gibbons. I was deleting all the extra effects from groups. Anyways, my point is I try to take time and care and understanding with videos now and recognize that people do seem to care what I have to say. I mean, hence the 4,000 subscribers. With great power comes great responsibility. You know, I was 8 years old when I watched the first Spider-Man movie, and I've taken that idea to heart. I will always be honest with you, and I really appreciate you all watching these videos and being part of this experience. What a magical experience, honestly, to make this channel, to have you all interact with what I do. I've said this before, but like, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just a dude who works in tech, who makes music, and who makes videos. I'm just a person like you, and to have anyone interact with anything I make like this, it really means a lot. I'm getting emotional, so I'm gonna stop recording, but I will catch you next week with a video about something. And in the meantime, if you would consider checking out my music and sharing it with people, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. A lot of the stuff I make on video is like me practicing, making stuff from scratch and demos and getting my skills out. My album and the songs I release are generally the results of years of work and time and effort. So yeah, if you check out There's Something Better, I really appreciate it. And if you're not already, you know, in the spirit of the video, consider subscribing. All right, I'll catch you next week.